a spooky story for you guys. Some people may or may not find this entertaining. It's kind of freaky when you actually sit down and listen to it. As you can tell by the title, maybe, maybe not, I don't know what I'm gonna call this video, but I'm gonna tell you guys the time when I was followed home by this guy in a truck. Very scary situation. I feel like trafficking and abduction, missing women and children, it's very common in Canada. There's a lot of missing Indigenous women. So that's why I just want to come tell my story. One, it's kind of entertaining if you think about it in a weird way. And two, I feel like with my story, we can kind of shed light, bring awareness, and it can help people pay attention. You know when you hear something, then it kind of sticks with you. So maybe that's what my story will do for somebody. If you guys haven't already, please make sure that you like the video, subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content. I'm just making myself a cup of coffee right now, and then I will get right on into this story. Okay, here we are, guys. I am not responsible for the faces I make when you talk. That is the mug today. I just put lip gloss on, like I'm not just gonna be sipping out of a mug for like 30 minutes. Anyway, y'all, let's get right on into this video. So this story takes place 2 years ago, 2019. I feel like this is in the summertime because I know it was warm. I don't know if I was working at the gym though, so it might have been like July to August 2019. If you guys don't know, I mention this in every video pretty much regarding myself. I love true crime. I love suspense, all that kind of shit. I watch all kinds of shit on YouTube, on TV, ID, Crime Beat, all of that stuff. So I feel like I'm pretty in tune. I have a lot of knowledge when it comes to watching your surroundings, being very careful who you talk to, just being very aware of, you know, my situation, what's going on. I feel like I'm very observant as well when it comes to people. Like I always know what's going on. I like to say this phrase, I may not see you, like I look but I don't see, if that makes sense. Like I see you but I'm not looking at you. That's the phrase that I'm talking about. Even though I may not look like I'm paying attention, I am paying attention. This whole situation that I am about to tell you guys really freaked me the fuck out. Like I really thought I was gonna get kidnapped. I thought I was gonna get abducted. I remember when I finally got away, I was thinking, if this guy thought he knew me, like he knew who I was and was just trying to talk to me, or mistaken me for somebody that he knew, I feel like he would have drove away, or he would have got on his cell phone, or he would have yelled something out of the window, and he didn't. So, summertime 2019, I was walking home. Now, if you live in Edmonton, I used to live on 154th Street near Stony Plain Road, but I lived on 100 Ave. So I kind of lived on a nicer side of Stony Plain. You still got the random, you know, homeless people, drug addicts, transients. So it wasn't like my area wasn't free of that, but you know, it was still on the, you know, not nasty, but you still seen those kind of people coming and going. So I lived on 154th Street and I had walked to Safeway. Now Safeway was up the road on 149th Street. Yeah, it went up. So I was on 154. The Safeway that I walked to was on 149th. And I remember, I think I went to get my business cards. They had came in from FedEx or something. So I went, walked, picked something up. And I remember I was walking home on Stony Plain Road. And I was at like 152nd Street. Like I was so close to home. I was on 152nd Street and this black Ford truck was driving up Stony Plain. And I remember the guy, he unrolled his window and was just looking at me. Right, so this is where, remember when I had told you guys like maybe he thought he knew me? Like let me show y'all. He rolled down his window and was like driving and looking like this, like straight at me. So I thought maybe this guy thought he knew me from somewhere. And I'm pretty sure he might have like waved at me like this or something, but I just pretended like I didn't know him and I kept on walking. Yeah, I feel like I had my purse. I don't think I went grocery shopping. I think I had went to just pick something up. So anyway, I kept walking and I remember he turned on 154. So I think I got to a block away from my house and he turned down 154th Street and he was still looking at me. from his window. And I remember he had sunglasses on. He was like he could either have been Hispanic, a mixed man. I thought he was a black guy, like black descent, just because of like his skin tone. So, but he wasn't dark skinned, he was light skinned, something like that. So I remember being on 153rd Street. There was an alley behind my apartment. So when he turned down my street, I was like, fuck. I walked down and I walked behind a couple pawn shops on Stony Plain. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go behind, go through the back alley, get to my house and disappear. So this guy, you know, he's not following me or whatever. Cause I didn't think he was gonna follow me to the extent that he did. And it got very scary. So he turned down 154th Street and he was driving very slowly down Stony Plain. So that's when I knew. So I turned down 153rd, went behind like the alleyway, behind the pawn shops. And that's when I seen him turn into the alley from 154 because it's kind of like a T. So I live down here. The pawn shops are over here on the other side. There's an alleyway connecting 100 Ave to 154 and 153rd. Does that make sense? I'm hoping this makes sense. So I thought I could just, you know, walk behind these pawn shops, go down the alleyway, get to my apartment. My apartment faced 154th, but my suite faced the alleyway and then the houses and then 153rd. And the parking lot was behind the apartment into the alleyway. So I thought I could just run through the alley, go into the parking lot and up into my apartment and get into my house. So like I said, I was walking down behind the pawn shops and this black truck turns into the alleyway, into the T. He comes in through this way, I'm walking through this way. So immediately I start freaking out. And I remember I had my headphones in because I think he was trying to coax me to coming and talking to him, but I was just pretending like, you know, I was looking at my phone. And at this point, I remember me and my boyfriend had fought the night before and we were just kind of texting and communicating. And I think I had texted my mom and I had texted my boyfriend and was like, I think I'm being followed. He had turned down the alleyway and he turned into the longer road, right? So he comes off the T, turns down the alley, and he keeps on driving. And I'm like, at this moment, I got freaked out because he didn't know where I lived and he didn't know where I was going. He just knew that I was walking down this alley. I continue to walk and he pulls up and I thought he was gonna pull straight up into the alley and like leave. But he keeps on driving down the alley and then he pulls into my parking lot behind my apartment. And at this moment, I was like, holy fuck, where am I gonna go? Knowing how to handle these situations, kind of, I was like, okay, keep on walking. You know what I'm saying? Keep on walking. He probably thinks I'm gonna go into that apartment. So I'm like, you know what? Keep on walking, have your headphones in. And then at this point, I called my boyfriend. So I was talking to him on the phone and I'm letting him know, you know, there's this man, he's been following me since Stony Plain Road. And he just pulled into my parking lot and he was sitting there waiting. Right? So he pulls in, he doesn't even park into a stall. He pulls into the parking lot and just sits there with his window down and he's looking at me. So at this point I look, I see him, I'm like, okay, fuck, he's waiting for me. So I keep walking down the alley. I don't even walk into my parking lot. There's like a cement kind of fence thing in between the alleyway and the parking lot. So I was like, he can't come through and block me, you know what I'm saying? So I keep on walking. And on 100 Ave, you could go right and go to 154th Street, or you could go left and go to 153rd. So he was sitting in my parking lot. And at this point, I was like, I'm not walking that way. I'm gonna walk to 153rd. And if I have to, I'm gonna do a circle. So I come out the alleyway, I turn, make a left, and I go to 153rd. And that's when I hear him start to drive. So I hear him coming and he turns and he comes right down 100 Ave and he turns into 153rd Street. My heart was just beating like this. I was about to call the police at this moment. And when he was driving down 100 Ave and turning into 153rd Street, he was making direct eye contact with me. Even though he was wearing sunglasses, he was looking dead at me. He kind of disappeared down the street. Like, I wasn't even on 153rd. I was kind of like, there was an apartment here, the road is here. I was kind of like in between the apartment. So I couldn't see down 153rd. So when he drove down 153rd slowly, I booked it. And I booked it back down to 154th Street. I turned, I fucking ran. I was freaked out. I ran. I unlocked my door and I was like, holy shit, if he sees me get into this building, that's it, that's over. But as far as I knew, he was down 153rd waiting for me to walk down. So I was really scared that he was gonna see me get into this building. So I unlocked the door, slammed the door behind me, made sure it's shut, and I booked it upstairs. Now my old building, it was 2 stories. I lived in 22, and I was hiding in the staircase. I wanted to see if this guy was gonna pull through 154th Street. I wanted to see if he was gonna drive by. Because all I knew was he went down 153rd, and for all I knew, he could have drove away, you know? Because if he didn't know who I was, maybe he was like, hey, fuck this, I'll call her later, or you know what I'm saying? I thought that's what he was gonna do. So I get into my building, and I was thinking to myself, if he comes down 154th and I see him come down my street, then I'm gonna know he's still looking for me and he has some kind of weird motive, you know? So I'm in the staircase, there's 2 windows up top, and I'm looking out one window, and lo and behold, he must have did a U-turn, came back down 100 Ave and turned down 154th Street. This man drove down my street. I grabbed a picture. I was taking pictures from the window in the stairwell, and I was very freaked out. And I've never been followed like that. And I wasn't wearing makeup, I wasn't dressed up, I was just walking to a store to grab something. You know, like I didn't look like anything. I get up to my apartment, I remember I was shaking. My mom was like, close your blinds, you know. I ended up posting it on Facebook, you know, just to let people know. I was trying to find the post today because I took a picture and I uploaded everything. But I was so fucking terrified. That was the scariest moment of my life. I did not know this man. I did not recognize this man. I don't know if he knew me because he didn't call for me. I didn't see his mouth moving like he was trying to say something to me. He didn't look like he pulled a phone out and was trying to call me, or you know what I'm saying? Like just something that would make it seem like he knew me and was trying to talk to me or get a hold of me. He didn't say nothing. He just was looking at me through these glasses. Didn't take his glasses off to expose his face, to maybe be like, hey, it's me, you know? Nothing. He was just staring at me, following me. And like I said, the moment that he turned down 154th Street, so he must have did a U-turn on 153rd, came back around and pulled down 150, and he was driving very slowly down 154th when I was in the stairwell. So he was very much looking for me. Big black guy, big Spanish something. If he would have grabbed me, I don't know what I would have done. I'm usually a friendly person. I don't like being rude to people because nowadays you never know what people are capable of. You know what I'm saying? He could have had a knife, he could have had a gun. So if we would have had a conversation, who knows? He would have grabbed me, or he would have maybe, you know, took out a gun and was like, get into my vehicle. So I try not to communicate with people. I try not to give them that chance and give them that opportunity. So what I know deep in my heart, if someone is looking at me, or you know, you think that they're trying to grab you or something, I will keep on walking. I will pretend like I'm talking to someone on the phone, something like that. And now what I'll do is I'll text somebody. I will have somebody on the phone with me now. Forget pretending. I will literally call somebody, and next time I'm probably gonna call the police. I'm not gonna call my boyfriend or nothing. It was the scariest moment, hands down. And when I tell you guys I booked it, like I booked it. As soon as he went down 153rd, I was like, ooh, track season, running. And you know in the scary movies when, you know, the person has the key and they're like jittering like this? That was me. I was like trying to get the key in the hole. I was like, what if he turns around? That was my thought process. What if he turns around, or if he comes down Stony Plain and down 154th? Not like he did. I was like, what if he just does a big circle and comes back? But the scariest thing was he must have did a U-turn and came back. Thank God I was paying attention. Freaky. So my whole thing with telling this story is, women, if you're a child watching this, children, if you have children, even men, because even though it seems like it wouldn't happen because, you know, women and children seem to be the target, men, I feel like you need to be careful as well. Sex trafficking is real. Traffickers are out there. Even though I'm in Canada, you know, shit happens. You know, there's a lot of missing women in Canada that goes ignored. People don't really care for some reason. But it's real. And I feel like people just need to educate themselves a little bit more. Don't go with strangers. And I know that seems so stupid and so like everyone should know that, but a lot of people don't, and it's kind of scary to think that you could trust somebody because they don't look like a serial killer. They don't look weird, you know. They could snatch you up. The black market is another thing, you know. Killed, your organs get sold. I think his name was Kendrick Johnston. That was another black kid killed. His organs were missing. Newspaper was stuffed in his body. In this day and age, anything is possible. Anything is possible. You could get kidnapped, killed, your organs get sold, body parts get sold on the black market. You could get kidnapped, sold into sex slavery, sex trafficking. So I feel like telling the story is somewhat important because somebody could learn from what I did and people just become more aware. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to come and tell this story, because people can learn from this, and maybe somebody that thought it wasn't something that could happen to them. I didn't think it could happen to me. And then one day I'm walking down from the store and some guy's literally following me. Yeah, guys, just be careful, protect yourselves, be aware of your surroundings. Try to call somebody if you are being followed, or if you think you're being followed. Probably call the police if you are actually being followed and you don't know the person. I just fixed my lighting. I hope that the lighting wasn't too dark before. So that was my story, guys. If you guys have a similar story or something like that, please leave a comment, leave your stories below, and I will see you guys next time. Be safe, guys.